Call the school board meeting to order of March 4th. Dave, roll call please.
Ron.
Here.
Dick. Here. John.
Here.
North. Here. Dave here. Joe.
Here.
Jim. Present.
Proof of notice.
As stated in the agenda.
Approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second by Joel, second by Jim. Questions on the agenda? Joe?
Aye.
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 Motion carried 7-0. Citizen comments. Resolution 1819-163, approval of minutes of the previous meeting. So, motion by Norm, second by Joel. Questions on the minutes? Norm?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried 7-0. You can stand up for Trinity. Where's the FFA report?
Awesome. Come on up. My name's Trinity Radcliffe. I'm this year's president for the Mayville FFA. This is Stacia Harnett. She will be sworn in as president on March 14th at a banquet. Recently, we've been working a lot in the greenhouse, getting ready for plant sale. And Melissa Batterman competed in her leadership development event, creed speaking, and made it on to the next level, which is sectionals. So she will be competing next week, Monday, I believe. We had our alumni breakfast this past yesterday. Yeah, that was yesterday. So thank you to all who attended. Yeah, we did a lot of work setting up and showing off the new building, and it went pretty well. And then, like I said, our banquet is March 14th, and so is National Egg Day, so we will be delivering donuts in the morning to all the local farmers. And we're also doing a lot of work preparing for our career development events and getting those all going. I think other than that, that's all we have for you.
Once more, I gotta say thanks for the kids that helped. They did
Yeah.
a terrific job again yesterday. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you guys.
It was a nice event, yeah. And a lot of people stuck around and just mingled around there, all morning, so.
Well, it's nice and warm in there too.
Oh, yeah.
Other years we would have froze because they come in the doors out there.
Yeah.
It was cold.
And then the windows all fog up.
Guess it went a little faster too with the cooking eggs and stuff.
Yep, different procedure.
Yeah.
The seating was nice. The line
Yeah.
flowed through a lot more, and
You can see a lot of people now.
yeah.
You know, what's sad about delivering to farmers, there's only 23 left in the school district.
Mhm.
I see in there, you sent out this letter, for the banquet,
Yes.
and you have us RSVPing by March 1st, 2018.
I realized that when I sent it out to someone else. I had to send it to a local chapter, and I was like, why didn't I update that?
I'm just giving you a hard
Oh,
time.
sure, you gotta do that.
We enjoyed having you for the past year.
For President, thanks
So,
for coming.
Yes, and welcome for the next year for you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Dick, I was just curious, your comment, you said 23 farmers left in our district?
In our school district, yeah.
Is that considered dairy or
I,
just
I, I,
farmers?
that could just be dairy, but I don't think there's even that many dairy, but there's only like 3 in Leroy and 5 in Thressa.
I'd be surprised if there's that many dairy.
There's a many left.
I take it we don't have a student council report. Dave, any communications?
None of this day.
Okay, we have resolution 1819-164, approval of regular semi-monthly bills.
So moved.
Motion by Dick. Second by Joe. Questions on the bills?
I had picked on Becky before because one of them really interested me about Fireplace Incorporated, Schmores.
Oh, that's a newsletter publication.
Right, but I mean, I love how it's listed.
Yeah, that's fun.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none. Dick?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion carried 7-0. Committee reports. Jim could give a little report on our meeting that we had, we were talking about 4K. We were meeting on 4K as to personnel. Mainly,
So
Scott can.
we were really waiting for
I'll
when
take
they, when they were gonna have their function on that.
Right.
Park.
And we had that last Thursday.
So I'll take the lead.
Sure.
So, and Becky, actually, this morning, like, Becky, you gonna have that in your report tonight?
I was gonna talk about it, but go
And
ahead.
she said yes.
Yeah,
So
you can
I
do
will
it.
take the lead since it's coming up, and then Becky can chime in too. So we're looking at just our enrollment, and one of the things that we can do proactively to get families engaged with the school district. And one of the things as far as rigor in schools go is that colleges are telling high schools what we need to teach, what our kids know and be able to do. High schools are going to middle schools is going to elementary, the elementary is going to kindergarten. Kindergarten goes to where? 4K. 4K goes to community-wide Head Start and outreach programs and that kind of stuff. So one of the things we talked about was 4K started as a community-based program at partners' sites because we didn't actually have room in the district for it. So right now Parkview does have a space. So we had a conversation about personnel-wise staffing that and actually having a school district staff member support offering 4K and AM and PM section here in the school district. So we just talked big picture about what that would mean for program, and the decision was made, a recommendation that we all came up with is that we want to offer 4K on site next year, and we want to still look at the choices and options that our families have. Obviously, we believe that there's great benefits to any family for coming and having 4K here on school property and having exposure to Parkview right out of the gate. So the goal is we're going to start AM and PM 4K. The parents still have choices they're going to select and just kind of rank all the sites, and then we'll build it. So that's the gist of what we talked about. And then Becky had a 4K parent night last week, Thursday, with great turnout.
You did?
And you get extra toys for the play area because there's so many kids, little ones that had come along with their families. So it was great to see the turnout there. Thanks, John. John also went to the meeting. It was nice to see our partners all there, I thought, and for families to have firsthand opportunity to talk to them. It was great to see Becky in action as well, so everybody gets exposed to Becky and her leadership, and I thought it was a great event. And really neat to see the student volunteers watching the little ones. So these weren't just like potential 4K students, there were little babies in those spaces too. So it was great to see the volunteers and see Colleen Klingermeyer in there too. It was awesome.
Scary thing about it was Becky talking about the class of 2033.
Right.
But a lot of questions for Becky and the staff, and just unknown, just something new for some of these families.
So that was the gist of what the meeting was about, and kind of just providing some insight as far as history goes in the community with the creation of 4K, just giving some background information. That was the gist.
Okay, moving on, let's go to administrative report.
Okay, so I'll go first. In the packet, it's like 30 pages. It is a document that was created by the Applied Populations Lab. So we had contracted out their service to put together projection for the school district. So there's a lot of information in here, and I just strongly encourage you to look it over. I just got it on Friday of last week and sent it out to everybody. So I need some more time to kind of process it too, to see what I think of some of the trending information that they're providing. And in the end, on page 22, they actually have projections for our enrollment. So it has 10 years worth of past enrollment trends that are used to help put together this picture. So you can see on page 1, it goes from 2009 to the present. And you can see, while we have experienced declining enrollment, if you look at that graph, there's nothing radical there. Now, what's really important is to understand the story. In 2011, that is when we started 4K. So if you look, you see this big boost as far as enrollment goes. It's actually, we started 4K. But since then, we were, in 2009-10, we were 1155, and then this year we're reporting being 1,094. And then when 4K started, that's when we had this boost, we went up to 1251. So, I mean, the reality is, while this projection, it is a slow decline, it's still been, that's a decent chunk of students that we have declined by. So on page 2, you can actually see specifically the percent of change that has occurred. So like from 14 to 18, you can see that in 9th grade, we were down 2.9% as far as the population goes. So it looks at our enrollment trends specifically by grade level, and you can see overall, other than 14-15, our 4K numbers have remained pretty consistent. Our K2 building is definitely smaller, so when we talk about having room at Parkview, you can see why. It makes sense when you look at that. The high school really is the one where you saw a little bit of a boost, and then it just, we see this decline in size. And our middle school too, both of those are the two that you see the shrinkage occurring. Now you can look though at some of the data, and you can see the growth that occurs on an annual basis. So like our 8th grade class is this size, but in 9th grade, you can see what's happening with the community and kids not necessarily in the school, but still 9th grade numbers are growing. So it has kindergarten trends, it has area birth trends that are included in here. And one of the something I thought was really interesting was looking at page 14. And going into page 14, it actually has the age trends for our community here. So page 14 is housing. So I find, to me, that was fascinating to see that right now, this is like in 2012, there were a total of 5 new houses that were built. And as far as like multifamily, I know there's some discussion about having multifamily complexes coming to the area. The last time, 2008, so it was literally 11 years ago was the last time that multifamily housing was even on the radar for the community. So you can definitely see what impact the economy had on the growth as far as new houses go, and you can start to see an uptick here. So with that, if the trend continues to be new growth in homes, now what impact does that have on the school district? And now I think it would all be positive. So to me, some really good information there. I'm going to scroll down to page 22.
Oh, you want to comment on
Sure.
Back on page 9. Our last census was 2010, and the rest are all kind of estimates.
Correct.
And they didn't really take our whole school district. They don't have Lamira in here, they don't have, you know, and where do you divide the line? Because they don't know. You know what I'm saying? We got
Yeah.
half the rest of them, we got a quarter
Right.
of Lamira, they didn't.
Correct, they're not all part of our district boundaries. So on page 22, they start to put together these different, and that's what I need to go and dig down deeper into. So got this resource on Friday. I thought, hey, yeah, definitely, let's share that with everybody. We had meetings this morning and meetings this afternoon. So I really want to go and look at what is the difference in their baseline compared to the 5-year trend and 2-year trend, their kindergarten trend. Because if you look at the trends, they're very different stories that they're telling. So me, I'd automatically go cup half full. I'm going with baseline trend, which is the reality of they're predicting like 15 students reduction over 9 years, which is that stability. So we have come out and said, we believe that we're gonna start to stabilize. You know, but if you're looking at one of the data here and you're following the kindergarten trend, you would say, well, my goodness, we're gonna be 937 students in 2028. I don't believe that to be accurate, so that's what I want to go in and dig more into it and explore. In the meantime, the baseline shows stability in general for the school district, but we do not have a report to share that shows a spike, an uptick in our enrollment trend. So if anything, it's very flat. If you look at a projection of in 10 years of being down by 15 students, that can change dramatically too, I would say. So school improvement initiatives and the community coming together for more growth could definitely change that. So, but it's a really good start at getting some solid data. We've not had a resource like this before, so I appreciate having it. It's not, well, our Baird model says this, or we believe. We actually have a study that we've engaged, and now we're gonna have to dig down deeper into those trends and which ones we wanna use for our numbers. So as of right now, our Baird model reflects that baseline trend, definitely. So,
I think there was a news story on last week, and I think it was the 2018 year had a record low number of births in Wisconsin.
yeah. Well, and I share too, like, we're not alone as far as our enrollment trend goes. 75% of Wisconsin's rural schools are experiencing declining enrollment. You know, for us would be to start to, we need to start to stabilize is the piece here. So, because right now you get a little bit of hold harmless aid, you get a little bit of declining enrollment funds, and eventually those are gonna disappear. And then our new norm is working like a change of 3 to 4 students in a year. There's no declining enrollment. All of that goes away. That's pretty stable over. The biggest variable that's also out there is what's happening with the state's budget. And in a meeting this morning, it's pretty much it looks like, even though our governor came out with lots of things in the budget, we should most likely see some additional funds for special education per pupil aid, which I heard that loud and clear at the last legislative process. And we should also see just more funds being added to the basic school finance model. So, you know, so but the talk about really making a huge sweeping update to the school finance model, that's not going to happen right now. So we can discuss it, but I don't think it has any momentum.
We need to attract some of the Sun Prairie residents.
Oh yeah, Sun Prairie's growing. There's a lot of growth in the suburbs of Madison. Just in general, all of Madison, the suburbs are growing. Suburbs just outside of Oconomowoc over to the east of Milwaukee, most are still growing around there too, putting on new schools, you name it, additions and stuff. So it's the major metropolitan areas, all the suburbs.
Sun Prairie's outgrown their new high school already.
Yeah, they just built, how many two new elementaries at once?
Yeah.
Lee's not able to be here tonight, he's at an event on behalf of the school, so I have a picture up on the board there. That is our top 10 students of the 2019 graduating class. They were honored last Monday. It was supposed to be a Sunday program, but with the weather and everything, that had to get rescheduled. So the tradition is that they have a top 10 banquet at North Fond du Lac. So the Flyaway Conference comes together. So Lee has here, we are pleased to announce that Mayville High School is the only school that had all 10 students and their families present, considering the weather reschedule, so that's cool. So spring sports had started. And regardless of our wind chill warning, so it wasn't minus 35, it was an advisory. So we're okay, no worries, it was an advisory this morning. And then it's definitely cold out there, but it is March, so we need to have school, we need to not have any more cancellations, because we'll have to add minutes onto the middle school schedule.
And Yenny's gonna earn his money this spring.
All the reschedules?
Yes.
Yeah, oh
He's-
no.
He's gonna be white-haired when he's done.
Last year was crazy. It was seriously with the rain, there was so much
Really
rain.
bad.
Oh, yeah.
On Wednesday, February 20th, our juniors took the ACT at the high school. We had 100% attendance that day. So that alone is really impressive to see. So no chasing around trying to make sure that our students complete that. So the high school staff's very pleased with that. The actual proctoring of the exam went very well, so that we are thankful for that. We have our annual career day is set for Tuesday, April 30th. Mr. Seiler's coordinating the event, and he's in the process of finishing up the tables and booth reservations. And that's an event we have with our local businesses and partners. Last year was our first one that I saw at that scale, and it was awesome. So great turnout, with very responsive businesses and community partners. So we hope to have 30 businesses represented at that, plus speakers and presenters. And last year, Brian Findorf and just everybody who were engaged with the referendum, all hands on deck, who came and helped with different presentations. So that is a great event, and we'll probably be giving plenty of building tours and stuff to go along with that. By April 30th, the offices should be done at the high school, if not before that. So that whole wing, which is now band and choir and the show choir space, those are done on the one side. Now, right now, they are actually putting back together the office spaces there. So all of the new exterior windows are installed, look great, and the interior walls are in place. They're putting in plumbing, they're drywalling. So in a couple of weeks, you'll be able to go in, and that'll be like a non-hard hat zone already, because they're making so much progress there. So by the end of April, that'll be I believe a whole wing will be complete, which is exciting to see. So course selection stuff, they had course selection night. All the requests are in. We've vetted them out once, we've vetted them out a second time. They're gonna start working on a master schedule, and it's time for me to be a part of it to make sure that staffing-wise we've got the right fit. And we are having plenty of budget meetings administratively. We'll have an update coming up. Ryan will come and talk about the 2019-20 based upon our enrollment projections. And we'll definitely be having a personnel committee meeting to talk about, like the whole entire board, to talk about some staffing reductions based upon the fact that we are predicting a decline in enrollment. It is what it is. So it's not a significant decline, but it's impacting our finances. So, right, so that'll definitely be coming up. So in the month of April, and maybe even in the month of March here, we'll start talking about staffing for next school year. The school calendar, it's in, when it gets to the agenda item, I've got some comments to make on that. The high school musical starts tomorrow, so it's this Tuesday. They take a break on Wednesday, it's Thursday, Friday, and there's 2 performances on Saturday. There's a policy committee meeting on Wednesday at 8:30. Janet shared resources for that meeting, so it's here at the district office. Legislative breakfast, if anybody's interested in going, is on Friday, March 8th. It starts at 7:30 in the morning up at in Oshkosh. Next week, Wednesday, we have a team. I call it the district core team. It's staff members that are coming together to help do our sale work. It's the strategic planning stuff. That'll be at Wisconsin Dells. And then the next board meeting is March 18th, and that is on spring break. So is there anybody who can't make it? They're leaving the area due to spring break. I'll be here, so, okay, all good. So that'll be it for my report and
Okay.
stuff.
Becky?
Well, we talked about 4K information nights, so I'm gonna skip over that. Last week on Thursday, we had what was called the Digital Learning Day, and this was a national initiative to have classrooms find ways to celebrate or work with some sort of digital technology. So with the guidance of Melissa Schneider, we had the kindergarten through, for sure, 5th grade, buddy up. So there was a buddy classroom for each one of our Parkview classrooms with someone in the middle school. And throughout the day on Thursday, they were able to connect digitally using a format called Google Hangout. So using cameras that we have already in the classrooms and microphones, we were able to connect with these buddy classrooms. Variety of things happened. We had kindergarten classrooms who worked with 3rd grade classrooms to